Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In this video we are going to be chopping the frame on the back of the Jeep and installing the Pritchett Canyon frame chop bumper from Barnes 4-wheel drive. This is this bad boy right here. Stay tuned. So for the past year I've been running this Smittybilt XRC rear bumper. Had it on only for about 9 months or so. The reason I'm switching from the Smittybilt one to the Barnes 4-wheel drive one is I've kind of changed what I wanted to do with this Jeep. Since I bought the Gladiator is more my overland build now. And with this JK, well, I sold the TJ, and now this JK is becoming essentially my rock crawler main off-roader vehicle. We were at Blessing of the Jeeps earlier this year, and I've noticed with the Smittybilt bumper sticks out quite a bit further. Your departure angle isn't nearly as good, so I wanted something that was tucked up closer, tighter to the body. I was able to just move my spare tire right into the back of the Jeep, and so we're just going to, chop the frame on this and then stick it up there and see how it looks. So yesterday I already removed the old bumper, so I'm not going to show you that portion of it. Essentially what we're going to do is you need to take a measurement from the end of your bumper cap right here. So right here, measure 4 inches, mark your spot, mark your line. It's basically going to coincide right here with the edge of this, so you're going to be cutting all of this off on both sides. So I've already taken my measurements, 4 inches from the end cap to this line right here is 4 inches, so that's where our cut's going to be. Alright, so for your cut, you can either use a cutoff wheel or you can use a Sawzall. I have both here. We're going to start with the Sawzall, see how far we get with that, and if that doesn't work, we'll just go over to the cutoff wheel. So now that we got that cross member off, what we're going to do is we're going to take a flat disc and we're going to hit all this with a flat disc right here on both sides and just clean up all the edges. Alright, so now that we got our edges all cleaned up here, what we're going to want to do is take the 2 brackets that they provide you and then take your factory hardware. I just went to the hardware store and picked up some new bolts. But you're going to line these up. The flat end's going to be down, the angled end's going to be up. There's 2 factory holes right here, and you're just going to put those bolts right in there. Alright, so now that you have your 2 mounting brackets on, one on each side, your kit comes with these flange nuts. You got 2 of them, and you're going to take the one here, it's going to line up with the 2 holes. So slide that in there. Actually, the wrong one. We need this one here. Just slide that in there. And then just make sure they line up with the 2 holes. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to test fit our bumper onto our brackets and then snug them down just to see how everything fits. Right now I'm just trying to get these nuts on here so it'll hold it in place without falling down. Alright, so we got the hardware on here tightened down. It's on there. It looks great. It looks like we're done, but we still got quite a ways to go. So that flange nut that's in here, we need to put 2 bolts through there and tighten that up. That'll be the next step. And then after that and everything is lined up, we're going to have to do some hole punches on the other side because there's no holes in that frame rail over there. Over here on the passenger side, these 2 holes that are in the bumper, there's no holes in the body or in the frame that so we're gonna have to drill holes out. So right in the center, we're just gonna put a mark in each one, and then we'll get a center punch that, and then we're gonna drill a 1/2 inch hole through there. All right, it is worth noting at this point, after we marked those center holes, what we're gonna have to do is we actually got to take the bumper off now, just because we gotta punch those holes, we gotta drill those holes, and then after we do that, we gotta put that flange inside the frame rail, and then we can put the bumper back on. Okay, so we have our 2 holes down here drilled. We have our flag nut in place, and I did clean up all of this area, just kind of sanded it down and hit it with some just black flat primer, and then I did paint the bumper as well. Just kind of I did start with a matte black, and then I did a semi-gloss over that just to kind of match the rock rails as well. So let's get this all put on. Alright, so now that I have the top 2 bolts on each side with the nuts on them, just finger tight so the bumper's not going to go anywhere, I can go ahead and finish installing the rest of the hardware. So there's another bolt and nut that goes right here, one on the bottom side over there. Tighten those up, and then we have the 2 bolts on the bottom here, and then the 2 bolts on the bottom on the other side. Alright, so we got the side bolts all tightened up. I just need to hit this with a little bit of paint. So now we're just going to move to the bottom bolts on both sides. Alright, and here it is all buttoned up. So overall, not a bad install. Took about 4 hours in total. The most nerve-wracking part is obviously cutting off your cross member to the back part here. Once you cut that off, there's really no going back. You kind of lose your towing as well. They do have a receiver hitch on this, but they do recommend that you just use, like, you know, for baskets, or, you know, if you're going to carry a bike on the back end of it. They don't recommend you tow with this hitch, which for me, not a big deal. I have the JT, I'll tow with that. This is more of a rock crawler, just kind of a toy. So again, the reason I went with this is because my departure angle is going to be so much better. I don't have this big bumper hanging off the back and then the big tire hanging off the back of that. So I think this setup's going to work really well, and so far I'm really loving the look. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest adventures and our latest installs on the JK and the JT.